We are now joined from the NSPCA Wildlife Trade and Trafficking Manager, Karen Trendler. Karen, good morning. I hope I got your organization correct.
NSPCA, we're the National Council.
Yeah, you're the National Council, not
Council.
the SPCA. I thought, as I was looking at
the
it...
The SPCA is the branches, and then we have a national governing body.
Why are you so upset about Lami and the way the zoo, the Joburg Zoo, is treating Lami?
We were part of their ethics committee, and this is such a big issue. It's highly controversial. There are a lot of welfare and ethical issues. It's a global concern, a global issue. And we just felt with something so big, and as part of the ethics committee and as welfare specialists. And from my point of view, I spent most of my career, wildlife career, over 30 years working with rhino and elephant, that there should have been, because it's such a big issue and so many interests, discussed at the Animal Ethics Committee. And when we weren't getting answers and we weren't included in discussions and we didn't know what was going on, we had no option.
What has the zoo said to you? Why didn't they exclude you in the discussions?
I think the main focus should be now on what is going to happen to Lami. We've sent them our correspondence, they've replied. I think now it's just...
Yeah, but was there any reason given to you why you're part of the committee, but then you're excluded?
No,
they didn't give you any reason.
No reason. I think it was procedure and process.
We'll try and get hold of the zoo to find out. But what's the issue here about Lami? Just clarify to our viewers, why is this such a big issue?
If you think of elephant in their natural habitat, they are very, very large, they're highly social, they're relatively intelligent, and they have highly intelligent, and they have sophisticated communication. In the wild, an elephant will move up to 60, 100 kilometers a day with its group. They have this phenomenal structure with aunties and a matriarch, and to have a single elephant on her own, bored in a very small enclosure, for us is not right.
But didn't the zoo want to introduce a second elephant in there, and then you guys are not supporting it? Am I correct?
They do want to bring in a second elephant, and that raises additional concerns in that elephant in South Africa would have to come from an existing captive situation. So that elephant is already in a bonded group. So you're pulling her out of her bonded group and saying to Lami, this will be your friend. She may not like her new friend. So you're putting two elephants into a compromised situation.
So what
Lami's not a young lady.
What would be the best solution then, in your view, from your experience?
Our suggestion would be, and there is the funding to do it and there is the possibility to do it, is to move her to a sanctuary. So you're not taking her and dumping her in the wild. You're putting her into a protected environment where she can be gradually introduced to other elephant and she can have some kind of natural life.
Do such sanctuaries exist in South Africa?
There are 2 sanctuaries that have been put forward, and there is the expertise. It has been done. They've had zoo elephant that have been put back into the wild. They've had working elephant that have gone very successfully back into sanctuaries. And the zoo have given us the argument that it's conservation and that children who would never see another elephant are coming to see Lami. Our concern is those children deserve better. Why must we say that this is okay for them to see a lonely elephant? We should be fighting for them to see elephant in their natural habitat. We should be fighting for them to see better.
So is it the case that the zoo, I know you don't speak on behalf of the zoo, from what you understand from that response, they are concerned that when Lami is taken to a sanctuary to be helped to readjust with other elephants, the zoo will be left with no elephant, and then that will detract from the attraction of people visiting the zoo.
They are concerned about that, but I think if we're completely honest about it, people don't go to Johannesburg Zoo to see one elephant. They go to Joburg Zoo because it's a zoo. The children go, most of the children who go are going as part of a school tour, program tours that they have to go to. There's so much more that they could do, even without Lami, that can enrich children's experience.
Okay, so from what you're saying, so if, and let's say they realize that maybe your suggestion is the best way, and then Lami's gone, you wouldn't support the zoo getting other elephants?
No. If you look at international research, and this is backed up by credible research, even the zoos internationally who are pro-captive elephant, who are keeping elephant, who are in support of zoos having elephant, are saying if you have elephant, it's very difficult to fulfill their welfare requirements, so you have to do a lot in order to make those elephants happy. And the thinking is that you shouldn't have less than 4 elephant in a group, and they should be related elephant. And in that way, you're giving them some kind of social... Johannesburg Zoo don't have the capacity to have 4 elephant. and there aren't 4 bonded or related elephant.
Now, you've left the Ethics Committee,
Yes.
from what I understand, as the National Council. What would make you go back, or that's it? You're severing your ties with the zoo?
I think on this one, yes, but nothing is ever closed. We had a very, very good relationship with the zoo up until this situation. We dealt with some very challenging issues. We had a lot of disagreements, a lot of agreements. We had a very good working relationship, and that is why we were so surprised when something as big and as important as this wasn't brought to the Ethics Committee and wasn't interrogated and hashed out.
Okay, we'll try and get hold of the zoo as well here. We haven't spoken to them to get their side of the story and exactly and what's the way forward. There's a suggestion from your side on the table. Let's hear what they're going to say about it. Thank you very much. That's Karen Trendler from the National Council of SPCA's Wildlife Trade and Trafficking Portfolio. Now let's